Very excited.
On my mic because I always forget to turn my mic on. There we go. Things that you do when you're, and I need to mute this over here. All right, very good. So, how are you doing today? D&D. I'm going to call
Good,
you
how are
D&D
you?
for short. Is that okay?
That's absolutely fine.
Perfect. Um, you're at university in the UK, correct? Or what are you studying?
Yep, I study music therapy.
Music therapy. And why do you study music therapy?
I've grown up around music my whole life, and it has such a huge impact on mental and physical health that I want to use my skills in music to help other people.
Fantastic. That's awesome. So if you're not already following her, dungeon underscore and underscore dorks is where you should be going.
Yeah.
And take a look at her. She's an amazing creator. She's got a lot of awesome. They have a lot of amazing content. D&D is they're amazing. So, anyways, let's get into this character creation because we both have got a short amount of time, and I love to chat, and I will chat your ear off all night long because I'm a chatter. Um, what character concept do you have in mind for today?
I want to create specifically an eerie sylphin. The concept is around the idea that the character, like myself, is deaf, and they are very stoic and silent as a character. But I want their main form of communication, apart from sign language, to be feeling vibrations, because that is how I experience music.
So, I'm going to ask because I'm sure a lot of people are going to ask. If you are deaf, how are you able to respond to me besides video? Is it
So no one is like deaf is a huge spectrum. Being deaf doesn't mean that you just can't hear any sound. It goes from mild to profound. I am severely deaf in my right ear and then moderately deaf in my left ear, so I can still hear some sound, but I struggle to turn that sound into words in my brain, essentially. So between hearing the sounds and lip reading, that is how I'm able to understand you through video and talking.
and you are also studying BSL, correct? And that's similar to ASL here in America, correct?
Yeah, I'm learning BSL at the minute because I my hearing's getting worse over time. So eventually I will rely solely on BSL. And I'm starting to work in a deaf school where they only use BSL. But it takes a while. Learning a new language is hard.
Yes, it does. And I'm having troubles over here for some reason. Not the why. So there, just for your information and for those who are watching, I am really into helping um, other small creators that are coming out with games, and I actually have hasn't come out yet, but I'm waiting for it to come out. Is a game that is actually it's a role playing game that is has included inside its core rules on how to teach both ASL and BSL as part of its mechanics.
That's Inspirals,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yes, you mentioned Plot Doctor to me before the stream started. I've been in a one shot he has run that's used Inspirals as a system. I really like it. It's really cool.
Well, I think that's it. Hold on. Let's I think it's Inspirals, right? Inspire.
Yeah.
Inspirals. Yeah, I think the only reason why I know about them is because they haven't launched. They've got a pre-launch page, and I can't seem to find it. But anyways, I am definitely going to be backing that because I think that's an important concept. So you're
Yes.
going to play a Eerie, a Sylph. And why did you choose Sylph?
I chose Silith because I kind of was inspired by sort of stay with my logic here. Parallel between being deaf and trees. Um, trees are so like heavily rooted in the ground, like the vibrations that I feel in my feet through music. But they're also so like the world of like a wood or a forest is so quiet. It's so like silent. And this idea that nature is able to communicate without making all that noise. So I wanted to try and connect a character to that.
Okay. Had to let the cat in. He was gonna bang at the door until I let him in. So he's like,
Sure.
"Let me in." All right. So you're gonna go with a Sylph, and you're gonna go with the Eerie. So we're on page 48 of the player's guide. And you chose it because you were associated with the infinity of the earth element of that or element. That's
Yep.
awesome. That makes even more sense. So, let's go ahead and jump into your character creation. So what we're going to do here is on your character sheet, on
Mhm.
your second page, is this box. It's called um hmm, I can never seem to get this over, so let me move this guy over and flip it. There we go. Is this entire all right, so is the species and feature traits. And what you're going to do is in this gray box on page 48 is this features called Scylla features. We're going to kind of copy some of that over. That way you know what's going on. So as a Sylph, you begin, and in general, it's basically the languages, the resistances, bonuses, and all that down to basically the species abilities, because that's something a little different. All right, so you start off speaking all these languages, your native language, Korshan, and Common. So what I do is I just grab those because we're using a fillable sheet. I just grab those and I will copy it and I will paste it in. I think you should be able to do that with Adobe Acrobat Reader.
Yep.
Okay. The next thing is going to be 15 plus 15 versus horror. Now you can copy that, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then also well, actually, I'll just copy that entire line right there, including the bonuses. And we'll pop that into the same thing. Now, the plus 15 versus horror actually has a mechanical place for us to put it, so we know where it's at. On the first sheet, on the underneath the little box, the gray box at the bottom next to skills, right here, if you can see that,
Yep.
is uh, where you'll put the plus 15. And we're going to just put plus 15 there now. So when we come back to determine its totality, we'll be able to add that in. So we build the character that way. Your next thing is your magic resistance. Now, this one right here, you have to be kind of, you're going to have to, what's the word I'm looking for? Really truncate it down, cliff note it down so that you
Okay.
can put in there. So basically, what you would do here is I would just grab that last sentence, Sylph gain +5 every 2 ranks to a maximum of 50. You see that?
Yep.
And then just pop it in there, and we're essentially done with that portion of it.
Cool.
Um, Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to do you choose your species abilities. Now, every character has 5 begins the game with 5 abilities, 2 from your species, 2 from your focus, and then the one that you choose. So we list the species abilities there in the species features, but there's the whole section of the species abilities. Go ahead and take a second and read through those and figure out which one of those apply to you and that you want.
Okay. Hmm. They're all so cool.
Now remember, you gain 2 of those.
Okay. I would like to start with the elemental enhancement.
right, so you're going to take the one for the Erie.
Yeah.
All right, so on the same page, on the site, on the second page, there's a list of abilities, and this is where we're going to list our abilities as we get them. So your first species ability is going to be Elemental Enhancement, and in this case, you gain a +10 natural armor. So just put in there +10 natural armor, and again, this is how I would do it to truncate and cliff note it down, and then
Mm.
on your first part of your character sheet, there's armor and defenses. So under one of the armor, I'd put this on the second line. I put a natural armor, and it's a absorption of 10. Now, natural armor stacks with regular armor. So if you actually get more armor, it stacks. And this is where we kind of differentiate between things. Unlike Dungeons and Dragons Pathfinder, we are an active opposed system with a D100 roll under. So when I attack you, you get a physical defense or some other way to defend. And if you meet or beat the total number of successes I get in my attack, you come high cat, go. You get you take no damage. But let's say that you take damage. Your armor reduces that total damage before you actually take it. So in Legends of Kralis, health is very important. When you're at half health, you suffer penalties. When you're at a quarter health, you suffer penalties. So you want to always stay above half health, and there's always this need to always do something to keep yourself healthy. Otherwise, you end up like Ziggy yesterday when he got to 0 fatigue. He was passed out for an hour and couldn't do anything, and he almost died because of it too. So it happens. So that's one of the things you want to make sure. But your natural armor actually stacks. So that's important. So what's the next one that you want to actually do?
Um, I'm thinking. Hmm. I'm trying to decide between two. Uh, let's go for.
So again, when you're choosing this ability, think about your archetype, right? Are you do you want to be like a warrior, a spellcaster, a divine summoner, a user of Jinhu? Do you want to be both? Do you want to be all three? I mean, what's your character concept? What do you see Sylph doing, D&D? The Sylph doing?
I see this Sylph being more of a warrior, I
Okay.
think. That's why I took the +10 armor, because I picture it being like bark on their skin.
Okay.
So,
And just because you're a warrior
hmm,
doesn't mean that you can't take skills that and abilities that allow you to also cast too.
yeah. I was thinking I might take Weave Talent.
Okay. Is that what you want to do?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So weave talent. And I would just grab that first sentence all the way down to before it and stop at this cannot be used with the Gia talent.
Yep.
And go over there and pop that into the second line. And on your first sheet, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put on your max fatigue right here, on your max fatigue, we're going to put a +10. Because we're going to be adding to that when we get ready to do that. All right. The last thing that what we need to do, so we can actually kind of not have to come back to the section, is determine a name. If you so like, you can either on page 47 we give some typical names and some typical surnames that you can choose from, or you can and some of the players that I've actually rolled up characters, they actually like the language and names, and they go in there and they're like, oh, you know what, I want to use these different words to create my own name. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but we list them for you.
Sure. I think I am going to take from the list. Um, I like the surname Kunan, Khunan,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I want to take the first name Arbor.
Arbor. Is that
Arbor.
is that listed in here, or is that something that you're choosing?
It's something that I'm choosing. It's
Okay,
not listed
fantastic.
in here.
All right, so Arbor, A R A-R.
B-O-R.
B-O-R. Okay. So on the front part of your sheet, what you're going to want to do is go up to the little thing where you've got your name and all this other stuff. Type in your name, choose the species
Yep.
Sylph. Your cultural kin
Mm-hmm.
will be Erie. Your size will be medium, and of course, you're a rank 1. And so far from what you're telling me, you want to be combat focused, so that's already pre-selected for you. Okay.
Yep.
All right, fantastic.
Perfect.
We are now done with that part of it, and we are going to go to page 53 and roll up your character. This is where we get to roll some dice and get into the crunchy peanut butter side of things. So you're going to need 4d10.
Okay, let me find my d10s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go.
All right, so the way this is done, and you get to roll. You're going to roll up all 8 stats. You roll the dice 4 times. You re-roll any ones, and then drop the lowest and give me and then we add up or total the 3 remaining highest die. Does that make sense? I hope I said that right. I think I said that right.
Yeah.
All right, brilliant. All right, so
Yeah.
go for the first roll, and you don't have to assign them because we're gonna assign them after we've rolled them, so you can make your character the way you want.
Cool. So I drop the lowest and then add up the 3 highest.
Right, but re-roll any ones first.
There are no ones.
Okay, so drop the lowest and add the 3.
That's 21.
21. All right, and so if you want to do it for yourself, I'm going to be writing it down, but on the attribute determination sheet that I sent you, which keeps everything kind of organized, because I need organization in my life, being blessed with ADHD. Just write down 21, and I put it in the section where it's called campaign modifier, because then we can move that out, because campaign modifier really doesn't change, and it's the last thing we'll use anyway. All right, so
Cool.
Do that 7 more times. There's Mootley.
Hi, Mootley. That's another 21.
Another 21. All right.
Another 21.
Well, at least you're
Exact
above
same
you're
number.
above average.
Oh, that's exciting. No ones again. $22.
Oh,
Spicing it up.
spicing it up. Look out.
$20. Oh, there's a 1. 19.
Oh, you're going the wrong direction now.
I know.
Gotta change that around.
Lost all my luck. The dice didn't like me sassing them. That's 2 ones. That's another 1. There we go. That's another 20. Another 19.
All right, we gotta get a big one here. Get a big one.
Oh no, that was really you jinxed it. You jinxed it. That's 18. That's my lowest one so far.
But fortunately, you're still above average. But you didn't get like really super awesome attribute here. But it's no big deal. So now what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to start off like this. So our base size, because you're a medium creature, and what we did in Legends of Kralis is everybody their base stats start off on their size, right? It doesn't matter what your species,
Okay.
it's based off your size, and some species are larger, some are smaller. So as a medium creature, all your base stats are going to be 50.
Cool.
And then you get to assign your dice rolls as you see fit. Now, I know that one of the things that that I really reached out for you is to make sure that this appeals to everybody. And you've been really awesome with helping with the deaf community and the hard of hearing community. So I know that perception And perception is more than just hearing, right? It's sight, it's smell, it's all these other things that kind of make it up. So you can, in the rules, we've actually and I actually sent you the rules for those, so you can make sure I was hitting things awesome on that. Is we actually talk about the differently abled in Legends of Kralis, and one of the things is the deaf and hard of hearing. Who's that? Oh, the AMDM is watching us. Yay! Um, so you're going to gain the sign language skill and or read lips as a base skill of 100. And if you're using magic, you'll be able to actually cast those spells using that sign language called magical script, if that's what you so choose. So while perception might be like, well, it should be lower, not necessarily, right? Because it's more than just one sense. It's all the senses put together. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Okay. Now you want to be focused on combat. So combat focused characters tend to be strong and fast. Those tend to be the ones. So their strength, their agility, their perception, and their willpower tend to be the things that most people go with. But you can do whatever you want with this. Now, when you go to combat, we separate weapons into three categories: your agility based weapons, which are like your fast swords, small daggers, and those kind of things; perception, which is bows and guns and crossbows and missile weapons; and then we have strength based weapons, which are the heavy weapons like big swords, heavy hammers, those kind of things. So what do you see your character doing? What do you see Arbor doing?
I think in keeping with the imagery of a big tree, they should be strength based
Okay,
with their
so
weapons.
I think you're going to take that 22 and put that in that dice roll then, right?
Yep.
All right. And again, so agility and perception help you with your physical defenses, right? When you get attacked and you want to dodge something physically, that's what that is.
Cool. I think I'm gonna put a 21 in perception.
Okay.
And
So Mootly, while she's deciding this, she's actually making a seal of Eerie that is going to. She explained it really, really well with her archetype and play what she wants to play. So it's basically going to be an Eerie Scylla fighter for all intents and purposes. Okay, what were you doing?
I was gonna ask you to define willpower really quickly for me.
Okay, so willpower is your inner strength to be able to withstand things. Like you have a powerful will that you're capable of. You're not gonna be overly feared. You won't be frightened easily. You have a strong sense of personality and willpower, which is different than charisma, because charisma can be great personality or good looking or a combination of the two. So willpower is a internal strength, if that makes sense.
Cool. Yep. In that case, I'm putting a 21 in willpower and a 20 in agility.
Okay. Right. So the next thing that's going to be kind of important if you choose to become a caster at some point is stamina. Stamina is what we use to power our spells. It's a fatigue reduction. And you need the more fatigue you have, the more spells you'll be able to cast throughout the day. We're not based off of slots or you only can cast that one spell once. If you want to cast the same spell over and over and over and over again all day long, you can, so long as you've got the fatigue to power it.
Cool. I will stick a 20 in stamina then.
All right.
I was thinking of doing that anyway, so that makes sense.
Hey LB, how are you doing, Lord Baron? All right, and now intelligence is where you're going to get the ability to cast spells. You're going to need at least an intelligence of 85 if you ever want to cast spells. It also helps you with you determining your total number of skills.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna put a 19 in intelligence, a 19 in wits, and an 18 in charisma.
You know what you want. All right. So next thing we're going to come back to is on page 53 is your species modifiers. Now, what we've done here is we have the core set standard species modifiers that enhance your attributes. Or you can decide to use the attribute modifier's optional rule, which allows you to basically really do what you really want with your character. If you feel that those are too restrictive, it basically gives you a +10 to 2 of your attributes and a minor +5 to one of them.
Okay.
So for the Sylph, it would be a +10 to either strength, intelligence, wits, or willpower, and you can choose any of those two, or +10 to 2 that you just want.
Here we go. So I was struggling to find it on the page. In that case, I will put a +10 in my strength.
So are you using the standard bonuses or the optional bonuses?
I was going to use the standard bonuses.
Okay, that's perfect. That's fine. So +10 in your strength. So in your focus, on your attribute, in your species modifier, put a +10 there, and then choose one more.
It was intelligence for spellcasting, right?
It is ultimately.
I will put my other +10 in intelligence.
All right. So 10 there as well. Not 20, not 40. Oh my gosh, my fingers are going crazy. All right, so that is essentially, we're done with that. Now we're going to go to the next page, which is page 54, which is character focuses. This is as close to classes as we get. All right, so there are 4 basic focuses: combat, knowledge, social, and stealth. You've indicated that you want to be a fighter, so I'm assuming you're going to go with combat focus, but you don't have to stay with that focus. You can choose another focus and still be a combat fighter. You just won't get awesome bonuses for being in combat.
So I'll go with combat focus.
Okay, fantastic. So in combat, now if you'll notice there on table 3, it says focus modifiers. You gain an automatic +5 to your stamina. So we'll put a +5 in stamina, so that goes up. And then you get to choose a +5 to strength, agility, or perception.
Let's level Arbor out a bit and put it in perception.
All right. We'll put the +5 there. I'm sorry, I got them in the wrong place. 5 there, and delete. So we are essentially done with rolling up your character attributes. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to go ahead and copy these. And what I'll do is I'll copy them and tell you where they're at. So on your character sheet, on the first page, we're going to go with a strength of 82, a stamina of 75, a agility of 70,
Yep.
a perception of 76, a intelligence of 79, a wits of 69. I can hear Mootley giggling in the background now. A willpower of 71, and then finally a charisma of 68. And because it's a fillable character sheet, these all pretty much pre-generate, and it does allow a lot of different things that are already kind of pre-generating that you haven't even seen yet. I think I missed something. Let me double check something real quick. I think I may have missed something before we left Sylph. So we did, but we didn't. All right. So on your character sheet, let me get to page 54. On your character sheet, we wrote down that you gain, as a bonus, you gain +10 health and +5 heroic luck. So I failed to tell you to go up to your top of your sheet, and in your max health, let's put +10 there.
Cool.
And at the very top is this really awesome stat that we have is heroic luck. It's used by everybody for everything. It allows you to re-roll missed rolls, avoid critical hits, avoid an entire attack when I'm doing like 600 points of damage to you with one hit, and you're like, oh my gosh, you can completely ignore that. 16. Dude, I don't know if you can see her. I don't know if you're watching the Twitch, but Mootley just went 69.
Nice.
Yeah, right. She does that. So you gain a base of heroic luck of 5 right now, right?
Cool.
That's a bonus, and we're going to get into more of that in just a second. So we are essentially done with the attribute determination sheet. So if you want to close that down, you are more than welcome to.
Awesome.
And now we're going to get into the combat focus. So as a combat focused character, you gain one additional free train skill that you get, a trained combat skill that you get to choose. So that's going to be a bonus for you for your skills. So there's a little box underneath the fatigue points that I'd use as a note. So +1 combat skill just helps me keep notes as I'm creating the character on this fillable PDF. And then here's a really awesome thing. As a combat focus, you can pick up any weapon and automatically have a +10 to use it as an untrained skill. Where most people would be stuck with only 30 plus whatever their attribute modifier is for the skill, you can pick up any weapon and it starts off at a base of 40. And it's a gun, I can shoot it. All right, cool, right? And so you get that kind of a bonus. So that is something that you're just going to need to like put on your character sheet. We can put it in your features and traits, and so a +10 to any non-trained weapon use. That makes it easy to remember. That's why it's at least there notes, so you know it's there. All right. Additionally, now you're going to gain 2 abilities. Remember, I said at the beginning, characters start off with 5 abilities. 2 from your focus. 2 from your species, and now 2 from your focus. Which 2 of these do you wish to take? And if you want to know what they are, let me know, and I will find them for you.
Ooh. I mean, a lot of these seem to be pretty self-explanatory. Although, what is battle sense?
Let's take a look at battle sense. Let's see how well I know my own book. I'm going to say it's 103. Oh, I was so close. I was very close. So battle sense, you need a perception of 700. Don't worry about the merit point cost now. You have a honed sense of combat, movement, and accuracy. Because of this, you gain one of the following each combat turn. You either do not suffer penalties to your physical defense against flank attacks, and you only suffer a -20 to your physical defense against rear attacks in case you get surrounded, or you can gain a +10 bonus to your perception checks versus sneak attacks for every 25 points you have in alertness.
Ooh. And can I ask what don't think act is?
So it's a bonus that is actually in the generals, and I think that's on page, I want to say 150. Oh, I'm very close. Something happened and it got all messed up here. So don't think act. Maybe it isn't combat. So let's go back to 103. Maybe I missed it. Of course, watch it be right there. There it is. Yeah, of course I missed it. It was on the next page. So don't think act basically allows you to temporarily sacrifice intelligence. That gains you a +2 bonus to your attack skill for every per intelligence modifier. But during this time, you can't use any intelligence-based skills. Basically, like you're making yourself dumb so you can become a better fighter.
Nice. I love it.
But it also has a
okay.
fatigue
I'm gonna
cost.
take. Okay, I'm gonna take battle sense.
All right, battle
Because
sense.
battle sense seems fitting.
All right, and I believe that's on page 58. No, wrong. See, brain not work. All right, so you're going to take battle sense. So what you will do is you go to your character sheet, go to your second sheet there, where under abilities, and we'll just put battle sense there. And once we get ready to finish that up, battle, if I could spell, we'll put what it does in there when we're done. What's the next one you want to take?
I'm guessing improved multiple strike is exactly what it says on the tin.
I'm sorry, say again?
I'm guessing that improved multiple strike is exactly what it says on the tin.
Yes. So basically what it does is everybody can make multiple attacks as just part of who they are, right? But everybody suffers penalties for every attack that they make above 1. So your first attack is going to be at a -10, then -20, -30, -40. minus 50, minus 60, minus 70, minus 80, minus 90, up to 10 attacks, which would be like a minus 100, which no one's really done. And it also is based off of how big your weapon is. So this actually removes one of those levels of penalties, right? So your first attack would be a minus 0, would be 0, and then minus 10, minus 20, minus 30. We only go to about 4, but it would apply to all of those all the way down. So your 10th attack would be at a minus 90 if you wanted to do that.
Cool. Okay. And this is, I promised, the last question.
No.
What is champion?
Okay, so champion is a unique thing, basically where you create your character to become a champion of X, champion of something, whether
I
it's
see.
species, whether it's a organization, whether it's an honor thing that you're doing and things like that. I also want to point out parry, which allows you to actually use your weapon skill once per turn at a low level to use as your defense instead of using physical defense, because physical defense tends to
Ooh.
be a little smaller than the
Okay.
actual skills. Also,
You know what? I like that.
do you see do you see Arbor actually using a shield?
Do I see Arbor using a shield? I didn't think about this because I think I was picturing such big weapon that it would need two hands. So probably not.
Okay, brilliant. So which one? So what are you going to use?
I as in like what's ability am I going to
Yeah,
take
either are you
or
going to
what?
take, yeah, what ability are you going to take next?
I think I'm going to take parry.
All right, brilliant, parry. Um, my son uses that, and he's got an imperial sword, and what's really cool about it is whenever he's being attacked by a creature using natural weapons, if he meets or beats their defense, he actually causes damage to that creature because they're using natural weapons. He's like, and he actually took the head off of a very powerful creature one time because it was trying to bite him, and
Cool.
he rolled a awesome critical on it, and literally, but that was also the destruction of their ship because it had acid for blood, and it
Oh
started to
my God.
dissolve the ship around them. So, yeah, brilliant. Okay, so now as additional bonuses for you being a combat focus, you're going to gain an additional plus 10 health.
Cool.
So now you're at a base of 20 health,
Ye-
and you're also going to gain an additional plus 5 to your physical defense. So in your physical defense, just put a plus 5 in the total. We'll get to that in just a second. Okay.
Where is my physical defense again? Oh, there it
It's
is.
just below armor and defenses.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
We are essentially done with that section. Now we're going to get into we're going to get into the nutty portion of your Sunday, right? So Mootly's right, and if you're not watching on Twitch, there, D&D, she basically said she's watching you make decisions and choices that literally took her at least 10 to 20 minutes per choice because she was so like really into it and all this, and so we actually termed the Mootly moments, literally
Nice.
Mootly moments. So it was cool, and yeah. So now we're gonna do your base health points. So this is where, like I said, we're gonna get into the really nutty, crunchy part of this, and then we'll be done, and then we can get into some other things and finish this pretty quickly. So, like I said, everything is based off size. You're a medium creature, so you're gonna start with a base of 40 health plus your stamina modifier plus your willpower modifier. So in this case, it's going to be 45, 49, 69 total health. And that's pretty awesome for a medium-sized creature to start off with.
Nice.
Um, Next, we're going to worry about your fatigue points. Now, fatigue points is your entire stamina score plus your willpower modifier. And in this case, it's going to be 75, 79 plus the 10. So you have 89. That's a good starting fatigue score for someone who wants to become a caster at some point. All right. Next, we're going to worry about physical defenses. And this is where it gets kind of really crunchy. So your physical defense is going to be 30 plus your perception modifier and your agility modifier. So it's 39 plus the 5 that's there, so that's 44.
Cool.
Your magical defense is going to be 30 plus your intelligence modifier and your stamina modifier. So 30 plus 9 is 39. Your divine defense is going to be 30 plus your wits plus your charisma modifier. So 36. And then finally, your Jinhu defense is 30 plus will plus intelligence modifier. So 35, 39. Those are not 396. That's average. That's an average starting for first rank characters. Okay.
Cool.
Now the next thing that we're going to worry about is going to be your movement, which is a base of 15. So at the very top, where your name and heroic luck is, there's a move score there. So just put in a base of 15 right there. And the modifier is used in case you have like technology that helps you move, like quick, or magical items, or a combination of the two that allow you to move or add movement to your total. Okay.
Cool.
Next, what we're going to work on is heroic luck. So heroic luck, like I said, is one of the most important things in the game. And heroic luck is your charisma modifier plus any bonuses. So you're going to start off with a total of 8.
Nice.
Okay. And then your starting age and your height and weight. I don't care if you roll it or if you want to go with average. What do you want to do?
Let's roll it. That's the fun way to do it.
All right. So as a Sylph, you're going to roll a single D10 and then divide that by 2 for your age.
Four.
All right. So you are 19.
Nice.
And that'll be on your second page for your age, 19. Your height and weight now. So for your height, you're going to roll a 2d10, add those together and for total inches, and we'll add that to 5'6".
15.
Wow. So 6'11". You're tall.
That fits. That fits.
Right? I think, right? 15, 5'6", 12 inches would take you to 12'6". That'll leave you 3. So no, I'm sorry, 6'3". Sorry, 6'3". That's still pretty tall.
That's still pretty tall.
Right? A foot takes you to 6'6", and that leaves. I'm sorry, math.
I studied music for a reason.
Right, so it's actually 6'9". So even taller.
Nice.
It was that 15. It was that 15 that threw me. I was like, it doesn't make sense. All right, now your weight is going to be 110 pounds plus 5d10.
Plus 5d10. Cool.
It doesn't necessarily mean you're like fat or anything. You could have heavy bone density, right?
Yeah, just a muscly bab. Right, 5d10.
5d10.
Oh, maths. Okay. 10, 12, 17. 24.
Oh, so you're not that. You're kind of you're a little lightweight too. You're only 134 pounds.
Skinny legend.
You're skinny and tall. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so now your vision. Your vision is going to be, I believe, standard. So it's normal vision. It's already selected for you.
Cool.
Next thing is going to be your encumbrance. Now your encumbrance is already kind of pre-generated for you, but your max strength is the same as equal to your total. Max lift is equal to your total severe. So it's 492 pounds. So you can max lift like above you and hold above you 492 pounds. That doesn't mean that you're going to be walking around with 492 pounds of equipment without suffering some severe issues. In fact, I think your movement's reduced to like 5 feet per turn. You're losing 80 fatigue every 5 turns. Yeah, it's just impossible to really move. But you can carry it, not easily. I think Mootly's character for the size was incredibly strong and I think could almost lift 250 pounds of and max lift for a 3'3" tall little creature. Yeah, she was buff.
Oh my gosh.
They were buff. Right, so your initiative is next, and it's already predetermined for you at the top. So you have a base initiative of 12, and the way that we determine that is when you're ever called for initiative, you'll roll a d10 and add that to that initiative. And you can change your initiative
Cool.
at any time during the combat. So on the next combat, you're like, you know what? I know I can do better. I want to reroll my initiative and get up or down. But you have to take it. Now, here's where the moot me moments really kick in. You get to decide your philosophy. Now, it alignment is awesome for what it does for Dungeons and Dragons. I don't have a problem with that. But I didn't like the way it really put things out into such extreme, into so many variations. What I've done and what we've done is you have three choices. You can be neutral,
Okay.
and 90% of the 95, 99, 98% of the population is neutral. Monsters, everybody's neutral because they do some good, they do some bad. Then you can be good or you can be evil. Now, if you choose to be good, you have to do good acts because we track what's called philosophy points. If you are not good or evil, you could slide into becoming a neutral character and you lose bonuses. Now, you have to earn at least 3 philosophy points per rank to maintain your good or evil status. And if you achieve 5 points per rank um, in philosophy points, you become what's called devoted. And you gain mechanical bonuses to work against the opposite philosophy. So, like if you were good, you gain bonuses to attack and other things towards evil creatures.
Cool.
So, what do you see Arbor being?
I think I see Arbor being good.
Interesting. All right. So,
Mm.
on the back side, on your philosophy, go ahead and choose good. And we're going to start you off with
Yep.
3 philosophy points right off the bat. That way, you're good starting at the very beginning. So you would have to earn an additional 3 philosophy points before you hit second rank, and that's really easy. It's like, especially there's rules for how much the GM can give you, or how much the GM should
Mm.
give you, based off of what acts you do, venerated acts and things like that. All right, well that's easy.
Cool.
Here comes the next hard part: aspects and motivation. This is where again, where Mootly really just she stopped. She's like, wow, I really have to think about what my character's going to be before my character's finished. And I'm like, yes, because then we're going to choose backgrounds, and that's even worse. And that's what I told you originally. So you gain 1 aspect and 1 motivation. Who is
Okay.
Arbor at their soul, at their core?
Oh, who is Arbor? Oh God. I barely know who I am on a given day. Hmm. Let me just look at the list.
Let me zoom in for everybody at home or who's watching these aspects and motivations.
Hmm. Where is this page in the book? Sorry, because I'm
I'm
just looking
sorry,
at the
it's
list on the character sheet.
page 62.
62. Cool. Oh, I could go two very different routes with Arbor, I think. Hmm. I think Arbor is unflinching.
So you are often referred to as having ice in your veins, as very little gets you to react. You tend not to be surprised, angered, or taunted. Okay. Again,
Nice
this is
big tree.
right, and this is all about who you think they are. So we will definitely choose unflinching. Now, you can change your aspects and motivations once every rank. Should your character desires or things change, right?
I love that.
Also, there are rules that are not here but are in the GM's guide that allows you to actually call upon your aspects and motivations to give you bonuses. And if you fail at a certain role, it could actually harm you as well, right?
Wow.
Like you misrepresent your aspect to your motivation. It can cause you some severe pain mechanically for a little while. All right, so now your motivations. What motivates her? Motivates Arbor, sorry.
Hmm. Let's read these motivations. See, I feel like the Mootly moments were just taking a long time to decide. The D&D moments are just taking a long time to read.
This is a hard decision
Mm-hmm.
because it really helps you define who your character is as you move along. CB, this part of the stream brought to you by Mootly Moments.
It is part reading, part deciding, that's for sure.
And it is.
I'm doing it through process of elimination because some of them don't fit the
Right?
idea in my head.
Right? Yeah, like I don't see Arbor having a hatred motivation. I just don't see that.
No.
And I
Or a
don't, or a
masochistic
masochistic
motivation.
motivation, right? Um, and I also don't think pacifist would fit Arbor as well. From what I'm getting from you,
No.
I don't sense that, and I don't think
Would be a bit
possession
of
either.
an interesting would be an interesting clash to have a pacifist combat oriented character.
We actually, so one of the players that I actually did, he's actually in my every other Saturday game. He is a Bahul monk pacifist.
Wow, that's so
Who's
cool.
not afraid of using violence to solve problems. But he's like, no,
Very
stop.
not.
Let's not do this.
Hmm. I think I'm gonna go for a love motivation.
Love. Your character has a deep love for someone or something, an ancestral home, a great grandfather's beloved clock raccoon within their life. You tend to make decisions that are influenced by them and will risk your life to help or protect them. So then I'm going to ask, what's a deep love for you on this for this character?
I think their deep love is their home or their mm, either their home or their family.
Well, I think home and family are fairly similar to it, right?
Gonna connect.
They kind of connect. So it's a
Yeah,
deep love for home slash family.
yeah,
All
that
right.
works.
And that's the only motivation that I asked that question on because it's such a broad category. But it also asks you to be
Mm.
very specific in that. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've made love motivation, and then in your features and traits, I've put a little comment there for deep love of home and family. And
Cool. I will put the
we'll
same
put
thing in.
we'll put motivation in parentheses so we know what it's referring to.
Yep.
All right. Uh, and I believe love gives you a +5 reputation, so that's what we're on to next. So reputation is something that actually can be both beneficial and awesome and harmful and funny all at the same time. So you have a reputation score that other people check against it. So like if you're in a small area where you're like been living for a few years, your reputation will be a little bit better known. But let's say you go to the city of Jod and people are like, I want to know if they know me. Okay, they roll against you and they fail. Well, they may have heard of you, but the stories that they've heard of you are not the stories that are associated with you. In fact, they're associated with one of your companions, but you're the one who's getting the reputation for it, kind of thing, right? It's kind of like telephone. If you ever play that game, that's gone bad. So
Cool.
it starts off with a base of 10 plus your motivation. So you're going to have a base reputation of 15.
15.
Okay. All right. Now, here is where it really gets harsh. Your background. There are 21 backgrounds to choose from. Now, I'm going to really help you with this one because I think this will overwhelm you.
Yeah, probably.
The ones that I think that you should take a look at is either Knight Errant, Local
Okay.
Hero, and those are on page 64, and then possibly Wanderer, which is on page 66.
Okay. Hmm. Oh, quick. Think I'm gonna go for local hero.
And that actually makes sense with your motivation, right?
Yep,
All right.
that's what I
So,
was thinking.
is that your final decision?
Yep,
Are
local
you
hero.
are you sure?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yep,
Awesome. All
local
right. We've
hero.
sold it on Local Hero. All right. So on your background on the second sheet, go ahead and pick Local Hero. Now, here's some
Yep.
cool things. As Local Hero, you gain bonuses to certain skills, right? So on associated skill bonuses, which is on the next page, um, there are 6 skills. Choose 3 of those that gain a plus 10 for you.
Ooh. Wait, on the next page of my character sheet.
No, on the
Oh, okay.
player's guide. It's on page
I see, I see.
65, top of the page.
Uh, say 65. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I see. Hmm.
I would suggest alertness
Is,
as one of them.
I was thinking that. I was gonna ask, is fabrication like lying?
No, that's actually being able. I don't know if you have the ability to watch the show MacGyver.
I've not watched the show MacGyver.
Okay, so MacGyver was known for being able to fabricate really awesome things that he needed to do to escape certain situations by duct tape, chewing gum, and a shoelace kind of concept, right? Fab
I
and a
see.
paper clip. So fabrication literally allows you to create items from material that would be weird, right? And fabrication is also used in creating certain mechanical weapons and mechanical items, technological items.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna take alertness for my first one.
Okay, so plus 10 to alertness.
Yep.
Okay.
And hmm. Why is this one stumping me? Because I don't want to take convince because I don't picture Arbor being particularly charismatic.
Well, convince is not necessarily something that's based off charismatic, but it's convince. It's like, listen, I need to get through this door, or there's a guard you need to convince to come follow you, or you need to convince somebody not to do something. It's not necessarily a charismatic thing. It's your ability to convince others.
Sure.
Right.
Hmm. You know what? We'll take convince.
Okay.
Because I feel is brawling to do with like unarmed combat.
Yes, it's dukes up.
I don't see him being an unarmed fighter. I see them mostly using weapons.
Okay, chairs are weapons. In brawling, you can pick up a chair and use and use a improvised weapon, and a throne is a weapon. Right, using a
You've
chair.
convinced me. Let's do brawling.
All right, so fabricate, brawling. All right, so out of those three, pick one of those three to become a super skill. Super focused skill.
Super focused skill.
Right. So do you want to be more alert? Do you want to be able to do more brawling, or do you want to be able to convince people?
Let's go for alert.
All right. That's easy enough. So we're at plus 20 there. All right. Now, you gain one of the following associated bonuses: +5 health, fatigue, physical defense, or a +10 bonus versus fear.
These all sound really helpful.
It's not supposed to be an easy choice.
Then you've succeeded.
Well, then, if it was an easy choice, everyone would always choose the same thing and no one would be different.
That is true. I just glanced at the chat and just saw limbs.
Limbs
which I'm
can
guessing
yes, can be used as
with an improvised weapon.
Yeah, rip somebody's arm off and start beating them with it.
Oh, jeez.
We'll call it a club.
Right, let's look at my physical. Okay, my physical defense is on 44. Do I need the +5 to it?
So remember, if I'm hitting you and I've got 5 successes, you need to roll below your physical defense and get at least 5 or more to avoid being hit. If you miss, I hit you, and you take full damage. But you've also got the parry ability too.
I do have the parry ability. Do I want to be extra difficult to damage, or do I want to take the +5 health and be a little bit stronger? Because, like you said, there are
a little more healthier
penalties to losing health.
Yeah, that's. So that would take you to 74 health, which is pretty awesome.
Let's take the +5 health.
All right.
Let's be a bit stronger.
All right, but healthier, 74, brilliant, and it should automatically update for everything for you. And we are essentially done with that portion of your character. Now,
amazing.
We are going to do a character. So in Legends of Kralis, like in D&D and Pathfinder, you have experience tables, right? And everybody has, like in 5th edition now, everybody has the same experience table, right? To get from first level to second level is about 300 experience points, right? I think, if I remember correctly. Here, you create your own merit table. And we say merit because it's more than just experience. It's merit. You gain things from playing your philosophy. You gain merit from playing your aspects, your motivations, doing other things other than just fighting, right? Monsters do give you merit, but it's not the focus, right? Does that make sense? And the higher you go up in rank, the lower if you fight a creature that's first rank and you're 10th rank, you're going to get almost no merit because there was nothing for you to do, right? That's too easy, for example. So for you, we are going to start off with your species merit point cost. So on the backside of your character sheet, you'll see a line there that has 4 things there, right? So your species merit cost, because you're a Sylph, is going to be 1,600 per rank. That's your base.
Wait, where is this, sorry?
It's on the second page.
Oh, no, I see it. I see it. Yeah.
the next thing we're going to do is your campaign merit costs. And so what we've done is this: is we've done this to either speed up campaigns so you rank faster, or slow it down so you rank slower. And since I normally play with a standard campaign, it's going to be your campaign merit cost is going to be 400 per rank. That number is always going to go up per rank. Always going to go up. And then your ability merit cost is going to be the fifth and final ability you get to choose to determine what your skills is, what your ability is. Okay. Ooh. And that will put in last. So currently right now you have, I didn't calculate over. I'm gonna have to calculate that over. So that's 2,000 merit points right now is what you should be at. I hate when I find an error. Now I want to fix it, like now. So it's at 2,000 right now.
Go over them quickly, because I must have misheard you, because mine isn't adding up like that.
It's not, because the actual calculation that's supposed to be in that box is not working. So it's 16 plus 400 is your total merit cost is 2,000 right now for you to go from first rank to second rank.
Okay. That's fine. And then it's 16 and 400. That's fine.
Right. And then when we choose your next and final ability, that'll add to that total, and that will be your total. And the campaign merit cost and your ability will be the only two that really move. Actually, no, rank bonus will also go up and down. Rank bonuses give you additional bonuses during your rank, which is kind of cool. Like you can increase your health, your fatigue, you can increase an attribute that you choose, you can gain more heroic luck, you can get rid of insanity points, you can change out abilities. It gives you a lot of moldability at the back end of the character.
Cool.
And that's not something you have to worry about right now, since we're just doing first rank. So we are done with that, and now we are going to go to skills and abilities. So page 73 is where we'll begin. And now we're going to focus predominantly on the first page. Now, in the book, in the rules, we list how many number of skills you get, the beginning skill range, and how to increase that and all that other stuff. But you've got me here, so I'll tell you. You're going to start off with 6 plus your intelligence modifier and total skills. So you're going to start off with 11 skills, and you have one combat skill that you get for free, right? And there's really only 4 combats. Well, 7 combat skills, but they're really the 3 of them are essentially one. And all your skills start off with a base of 40 plus whatever the controlling attribute modifier is for that skill, right?
Okay.
The more you do this, the easier and the easier it'll become to understanding. But basically, this is your character's skill level, right? And you need to roll below your skill level to actually be successful with it. If it's a needed roll, some you're not going to need them, right? But they're there for you to be able to go, okay, well, he's got a skill of 60. Yeah, maybe he doesn't need to roll, and that's up to the GM on how they want to play it and how you guys have decided to do that thing, right? But before we choose skills, let's go ahead and fill out our basic skills, which everybody has, which is going to be on the bottom half of the character sheet in the little gray box there.
Yeah.
All right, so your jump, and this is the amount of distance you can jump straight up from standing. So straight up is half your height. So your height is what, 6'9". Let's just call it 7 foot for easy math. So it's going to be 3'5" plus 1 foot per 25 strength. So you got 3. You can jump essentially 8 feet straight up.
Amazing.
Your leap is already predetermined for you, so it's about 7.5 feet forward, which is half your base movement. Your lifting is your strength score, so it's 82.
Cool.
Your swimming is basically, and this is like doggy paddle, like you don't know how to swim, but you know how to swim so you don't drown, is basically 1 foot per 10 stamina, so that's 7. We'll just make it 8 feet for easy math. Your throw is already predetermined at 76, and this is throwing basic stuff like throwing a rock at somebody without trying to hurt them. You're not using it as a weapon, right?
Sure.
That's just like you're gonna toss, the keys to your partner across the house because they're, hey, you got the car keys? Yeah, I got it right here. And you throw them, and you throw perfectly, but they miss and hit them in the face, and that's their fault, not yours.
Amazing.
Because I've had that happen. Willpower. Fear is actually your willpower score, so it's 71.
Cool.
Your wits, your horror is going to be your wits, which is 69 plus 15, so it's 79, 84 total.
Cool.
And then your poison is your straight up stamina score, which is 75. And we are essentially done with that. And now we're going to move on to character skills. So, character skills. There's a lot. There is a lot, but you don't. This allows you to really make your character how you feel that they are supposed to be, right? So, as a combat focused, at the very top of this combat skill list, which is on page 77, since you're following along on the character in the player's guide, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 major skills, and then weaponcraft has 3: agility, strength, and perception. We know you're going to go. You've already indicated that you want to go with a big, heavy weapon. A two-handed weapon, is that not correct?
Yep.
All right, so what we're going to do here is on your character sheet, on the right-hand side, there's a place there called weaponcraft. And we're going to put strength there, and we will choose the weapon in a little while, right? But your score is going to be 40 plus your strength modifier. So in this particular case, it's going to be 46.
Cool.
Okay, now there's some. Now here is how your focus helps you, especially with combat. It's real simple. It's simple for any of them. You get to choose 4 skills that are in your focus, and then in this case is your combat focus, that gain an additional plus 10, so you start off better with them. So in this case, it's going to be 56, and if you'll notice, there's a little box there. Click that. That way we know it's a focus skill for you. So and that helps every 5 ranks, you get an additional plus 5 to that every 5 ranks. So you get better with it.
Okay.
Okay. And cool. Now it's really up to you to decide what skills you want. Feint is literally faking somebody out or throwing something in their face or doing something to cause them, and it actually helps you with your physical defense. Or penalizes them from hitting you and those kind of things. The general skills are all the skills that most characters have access to at some point. I know that you are playing a hearing impaired, correct? Right? Mm-hmm. So sign language is there, and so is read lips. Those are both those are both general skills.
Amazing. So if it's a general skill, do you still have to take that skill to use it?
Well, in your case, since you are playing a hearing impaired individual, you gain both read lips and sign language as an innate thing, right?
As a deaf character.
As a deaf character, and they are both at 100. I just wanted you to point. I wanted to point that out. So those are those, and you can either choose one or both. It's your choice.
I'm going to choose both because we didn't talk about it at the time, because when we were discussing this kind of stuff outside of the stream, because to be fair, I didn't know a lot about sign language at that point, but lip reading is an innate part of sign language.
Yes, it is.
So
that I remember. That makes so it makes sense to take both, but not everybody's going to take both for whatever reason. So, but that's the option. So, it's going to start off with a base of 100. And your sign language is, you can either choose agility or intelligence for your bonus modifier. I would go with intelligence more than agility because it does give you 1 extra point. So and then your read lips is going to be 100 plus your perception, so it's 105 as well.
Cool.
And so you would roll against something like this, and the reason why you would roll against it is not so much, you might be signing to somebody and make a mistake, right? But this gives you a better chance of not failing than to actually you would have to you'd have to roll a 96, 97, 98, or 99 or 100 to actually critically fail, right? And I'm sure you've had those couple of times when you're learning sign language or reading lips, someone says something, you're like, wait, what?
Oh yeah.
Right?
All the time.
So that's what the failures would ultimately be. And that would be something you and your GM would obviously work out to make sure that that works for your character. And that's something in the way I would do. Is like you read exactly what they said, but you're not sure about that one word.
There's a disconnect
There's a
between what I'm
disconnect there,
reading
right? And
and
what
what,
and
what I'm
what,
yeah,
so that
yeah.
what you're seeing, it's like that doesn't make any sense. So that's what that is. So so as a hearing impaired individual, as a deaf character, you gain both of those skills at 100.
Perfect.
Now you get to choose
Cool.
these other skills.
Yes.
Now, as a
Okay.
combat focused character, I think, and we've decided not to go with shield. I think,
Yeah.
wow, you've got such an awesomeness here. So you definitely want to take brawling because you have that as a skill and you've got that as a bonus. You want to take
Yes.
alertness because you've got that as a bonus to your skills. And
Yes.
also, I believe convince. And convince
Convince is the other one, yeah.
right, is a social skill, but you don't need to have a focus in that. And additionally, you can also have in your weapon craft, you got a pretty high perception. You could
Hmm.
even have a pistol if you wanted, right? Or a crossbow as a missile weapon from a distance, if you're able to afford
That
it.
could be cool. If I
But
can afford, yeah.
you'd also be trained in it though, right? You'd be able to train in it. So let's say you come across somebody who's got a pistol, and you're like, the bad guy, he's got a pistol. I'm gonna take it because we've defeated them today, right? So I would put perception in there, and that would be equal to 55 altogether. And it's a focus skill, so that way it always improves. And you've got a range. Like if they're coming at you, you can
Hmm.
shoot them and maybe kill them before they get to you, or severely wound them, and then you can beat them with your big heavy large weapon, whatever that is. We haven't decided yet.
Nice.
Okay, so again, so we are down to 10 skills left. I would take, like I said, I would take alertness, so that would be 40, 65.
Cool.
Okay, so 65. We are down to 9 skills. I might be a little closer now. I would take brawling because it is also a skill that you have. I would definitely take that, and I would pull in on your strength. So I would mark strength,
Yep.
make that a 56. So you're pretty good at brawling. And if you have to have someone's, I mean, literally, that allows you to actually take the the ham hock and beat somebody with it if you need to as an improvised weapon, right?
Amazing.
Convince, and this is where you get to choose. Which one do you think would be better for you? Do you think you're more like strong convincing somebody, like you're going to do what I'm asking you to do because you're so much bigger than they are, or are you going to use your charisma or your intelligence?
I think I'm gonna go for strength because they are just a big towering tree.
All
That's
right.
pretty spooky.
Yeah, it is pretty spooky. So it is actually. So 10. What am I thinking? 40, 56. So that's also 56. That's a pretty good convince score to start off with.
Cool.
And we are down to 8 skills. So now you have 8 more skills to choose from. Now, some of the ones that are very important, tend to be important, are such things as search. Um,
Hmm.
so search is definitely one of the most important ones. You've got alertness there, so that's taken care of. So you can actually choose whatever skills that you like, whichever ones you think are going to be better. Now, if you want to eventually become a spellcrafter, you're going to need spellcraft, which is an intelligence based.
Yes.
It actually allows you to also understand magic. So if there's like, hey, that guy's casting spell, can I use my spellcraft to figure out what he's casting? Sure. And so if you wanted to take that, that would be 40 plus your intelligence modifier, which would be 45.
Cool. I will do that. I will take
Right.
spellcasting.
45.
45.
Yep. And we are down to 7 skills left.
Okay. I think as a big tall tree, I like the idea of him having navigation
So
or
navigation,
something like that.
right? So navigation does allow you to determine direction and all those things, but they're predominantly used in sailing or those things. But you can definitely take navigation, sailing, whether you're in void ship, airship, or sea ship, or if you're in a land vehicle and you need to know which way north is and you need to know what's the best path to get over something, navigation would probably help.
Uh,
I'm just giving you the
I'll
information so you
put
can make a better decision.
yes, yes, thank you. I'll put navigation on the maybe list. I say
Okay.
that like I've only got one or two skills left. I've still got so many to choose. What
Mootly's
exactly is?
Mootly's character,
Oh,
I think, had 16 skills to choose from.
Jesus. Oh, that must have had so many Mootly moments.
Oh yeah, she just started choosing skills. She's like, I'll take that. I'll take that. It's like a shopper spree, right? I'll take that. I'll take that. Two of these, one of those, six of those. You know, things like that. It was kind of fun to watch her do it. Do you want to take navigation?
uh, Maybe. What is herbalism? Is that like
Herbalism is
potions?
it's exactly as it sounds. And actually, let's go take a look at herbalism real quick, just so you have a better idea. So it allows you to. So it's on page 84. It allows you to
Mm-hmm.
identify plants, prepare non-magical potions, poultices, powders, balms, salves, drugs, poisons, infusions for medical or recreational purposes, and it is also used in cooking and baking.
I'm gonna take herbalism.
All right.
He's a big plant.
Well, remember, it's still a humanoid. It's not a plant.
They, yeah, they are a humanoid,
They are humanoid
but they look suspiciously like a
because of
plant.
the armor, right? The natural armor's got like a
Cause yeah, the barky armor and
right.
yeah.
I feel you. So that's going to be 85. I just don't want anybody to get
Cool.
confused with sylphs or trees when they're like a offshoot of the Tajahu. But you've got
Yeah,
like
yeah,
thick, barky like skin. So I just don't
yeah.
want people like, did she make a treant? I'm like, well, no.
I haven't made Groot. I haven't literally made
Made
Groot.
Groot, right. Um, all right, so we got herbalism, which is awesome, and you are now down to 6 skills.
6 skills. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Let's take stealth.
Okay. So that's
That
going to
seems
be
helpful.
40 plus your agility, so it's 44. And you're down to 5.
Faint sounded helpful,
Okay.
so I'm gonna take faint.
So that's going to be your charisma, which is 43. And you're down to 4 skills.
Hmm.
So I can hear DC in my other ear saying, well, that would be cool. Can you actually create Groot in Legends of Kralis? And technically you could. Uh, I am actually putting together playable species coming out of the bestiary. And so, all right, Serby, I'll take on your challenge and create a treant like playable character at some point and put it up on the website for free.
That would be awesome.
Got to write that down. So I'll forget. It's ADHD. All right, so you've got 4 skills left.
4 skills left. I'm more asking this out of curiosity. How is skepticism a skill?
Skepticism, um, because not everybody can tell the difference when someone's lying to them or not.
I see.
Skepticism. It's one of those things like so. Um, because you don't know me, D&D, if I told you that I was a 10th degree black belt in Amara Taido, would you believe me?
I, you know what? I would. I'm a very gullible person. I would
Make your
believe you.
make your skepticism check, and that's what that's for,
I see.
right?
That's cool. Hmm. Oh, this is when I just I'm not overwhelmed with choices, but I'm hitting a blank because there are so many choices. Hmm.
Gaming is a good one if you want to, if ever you want to get into a gaming, like you're sitting at a tavern, you want to get into a gaming with somebody, you have the skill to be able to do things. Healing allows you to actually help heal people. It's not like a massive skill like what would be used during spells. Different languages. Leadership is a good one because then you can help. You can actually be a social fighter at the same time by giving somebody a bonus to whatever they're doing as a leader. Like, I know you can do this. Navigation again allows you to, navigate the world. Search, I would definitely take search. It's a general skill, but
Okay, I will take
it's
search.
it's definitely one that you're going to need when you get into the room. Now there's a difference between looking at a room and then searching a room. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So that's going to be 45 for that.
Cool.
And you're down to 3 skills.
I take it animal handling is also exactly what it says in the tin.
Essentially, yes. So you're learning to handle animals, being able to handle animals that when they're scared, spooked, being able to train animals, those kind of things.
Cool. Hmm. And survival is like being able to survive.
In specific areas and regions, yes.
Cool.
Better
Cool.
than better than normal. I mean, like I said, people can actually do, because it's a general skill and it's not a trained skill. Anybody can attempt the skill, but you're better at it.
Hmm. Okay. How many skills do I have left?
3.
3. Let's just spend them. We're going survival, we're going healing, we're going animal handling.
Oh, I like that. So animal handling is going to be 40 plus 3, so that's a 43 base. Your healing is going to be intelligence, so that's 45. And then your survival is wits, which is going to be 43 as well. And we are done.
Did it.
In choosing skills and abilities is probably the most taxing because there's so many cool options, right?
Mm.
But it allows you to do those kind of things. All right, so we are 85% done with your character for the most part. All right, so I'm going to allow you to read up on these skills offline, right? And
Sure.
hopefully we'll be able to catch you in a game with the G with if you whenever you have a chance, maybe you can join the game, plot doctor, out of print, and freelancer. I'd love, and I know you're really busy, but I just want to make sure that you have an open invitation to, even if it's a one
Thank
shot with
you.
them, you're always welcome to come in and join us.
Thank you so much.
So we are now going to choose your abilities. So you're a combat ability,
Cool.
and and because we were talking about indexes. So on page 94 is the beginning of the master ability list index. This
Okay.
breaks down skill abilities by their focus type and what page number they're on. So this is for people
Oh,
like
wow.
me who are really, who know what they're doing. And they're like, you know what, I want this particular skill or this particular ability. Okay, it's on page whatever, and I can just go there, right? Since you're starting off new, we're going to keep it simple. We are actually going to go to page 99, and this is the totality of the combat abilities index. Now, offline, you and I were discussing you being able to like sense vibrations around you, and you helped me rewrite a specific ability called and it's actually a general ability. So you can either choose to go with a combat or you can choose to do this other ability. Um, and it's on. I went too far. I always do that. It's on general. It's going to be too far. Where'd it go? Ancient Bloodline, which is on page 148.
Cool.
This allows you to take a unique aptitude bloodline that would be pulled from the bestiary that some creatures have. And of that particular one, the one that we were looking at was seismic sense, which allows you to, as long as you're touching the ground, you can have a better feel of things, of what's going around you. And I would probably even say, as long as you're touching, whether it's the ground or a tree or a building, you'd be able to pick up these vibrations and stuff.
Anything a vibration could shake,
Right,
really.
right. So do you want to do that,
I
or do
mean,
you want to pick something else?
I've fallen in love with the idea of being able to feel all the vibrations around. It was like what I based a lot of my character on, so I think we're gonna go with that for sure.
Ancient bloodline. All right. So
Yeah.
our last and final ability is going to be ancient bloodline, and it's going to be unique aptitude. Aptitude. I can't spell
You've
aptitude.
got this. I
I
believe in you.
don't. I don't. Thank God for auto check. Woo. And you're gonna take seismic. Since I didn't have a problem spelling seismic, but aptitude was like. All right. So we've got that, but let's go and take a look because we've got a few minutes left. We got a half hour before we have to finish. And we're literally all we have left to do is choose your equipment, and that's it, right? Weapons and we are done. So battle sense. Let's go take a look at battle sense, and we know so it's going to be seismic sense, and you already know what it kind of does, and we can add it to the character sheets. I would have to pull it from our Discord channel, Discord, but we can actually do that. But
Yep.
battle sense. Battle sense is the one that you actually took, which actually kind of makes a lot of sense with where you're going with your character concept. You have the ability to sense things around you. It's on page 100. And I would just literally, like I said, you're gonna have to do some cliff notes on these, but I would start with just grabbing the 1 and 2, just so we have the text, grabbing it and then popping it in the line for battle sense. So no penalties. I would put no penalties to physical defense, and we actually say PD for physical defense. If that's what you want to use, you can use PD, but that's physical defense against flank attacks, and a minus 20 to PD against rear attacks. That's the first option. Second option, a little space there so we know it's under battle sense. There we go. To your perception checks against sneak attacks for every 25 points in alertness. So the more your alertness goes up, the more bonus you gain. So that's important to know. So as your alertness, it's synergetic, right? So as your alertness goes up, you get better at it. And then parry. Parry is going to be on page 108.
Cool.
This one is not something that you can there are some abilities that you just can't paraphrase easily, and parry is one of them, because it gives you some seriously cool options. But the big thing that you need to know is that once per turn, you can attempt to parry attacks at you, and that's using your weapon skill score instead of your physical defense score. And at first rank, they're pretty much even. As you get higher in rank, they really start to become disparaging, because the fact is that you can add bonuses to that. And when you use, so like if you have a spell that's on you that increases your attack skill and all this, that parry skill goes right up with it. So it's a pretty cool kind of thing. Also, in addition, you can parry with an offhanded weapon. So if you've got 2 weapons, you can parry with one and still attack with the other. It's you can even attempt to disarm somebody, right? If they've got a weapon, you can attempt to disarm them, and those kind of things. So it's really kind of cool. But it's something you would have to read into. And what I do is when it's that long and that in depth, I just put page number 108. So
That's
when
very
I'm
fair.
right, so when I get ready to, if I'm playing and I'm like, oh, okay, I need to go read, just okay, parry, okay, allows me to do this, okay, cool, I'm ready. I get attacked. How big is the attack? Okay, I'm gonna parry it. This is what happens.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like being prepared for spells in a sense, but it's on page 108. That is
Cool.
essentially it for your skills and your abilities. So far, so good?
Amazing. Yeah,
All
perfect.
right, awesome. I hope it hasn't been too difficult.
No, this has been
Because
really fun.
and the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of options, right?
Yeah, that is, I mean, like, I think anyone who's joined my live streams on TikTok knows that I get very overwhelmed by a lot of options, but the way you've laid it out is in nice little steps, so it's not too overwhelming. You've
Awesome.
really helped me through it.
Oh, great. All right, so now we are finishing up. We are going to go to page. I don't want to even guess on this one. I think it's like two. No, it's 161. See, I was even off. So page 161 is where we're going to start choosing your equipment and how much money you've got.
Cool.
So, because we base how much money you start off with your background, you chose local hero. Local hero
Yes, I did.
is 500 base silver pieces.
Cool.
That's your base. Now, here's a decision for you. Do you want me to roll the blessings of the gods for you, or do you want to roll the blessings of the gods? The blessings of the gods are bonus silver that you've somehow picked up in your small time before you became a legend. On your
I'm gonna let you roll it because my dice got sassy with me. So,
All right, boys, let's go. Okay, well, I rolled an ot 9, so that's pretty awesome. So you're getting an additional 750 silver pieces.
oh my god.
So you're at 1,250 silver pieces total. And I'm also going to give you the 75 bonus for being a Sylph, so you're at
Thank you.
1325 altogether. That is the most any person who's actually rolled up a character with me has had to spend. Everybody else has been in
I
the
made a good
25
decision.
to 75. Yeah. I always ask, they're like, no, I want to reroll. All right. No one ever lets me reroll. So you have 1,325 silver pieces. And this is going to be important for you to be a warrior. So much money. That's right, Mootly. She's got, so now you have to decide what armor you want to use. Even though you have a lot,
Okay.
remember, weapons cost a lot, armor costs a lot. Um, you could start with Brigandine armor. It gives you a armor absorption of 12, but it's 900 silver pieces, and that would really like it'd leave you with 425 silver pieces left, and then you've still got weapons to buy, your basic equipment to buy, and being old school, and I mean like old school kind of D&D. When I mean old school, because I like to show it off, I'm talking old school.
Oh, we're talking old
We're
school.
talking old school, right?
Ooh.
And I've even got the chainmail rules to actually play the game, which you need, by the way. A lot of people don't know that you
Wow.
need the chainmail rules to actually play that. Some of them do. Remember, she wanted to buy an interstellar spaceship. No. You could purchase one, but we're talking a base of 96 96K silver base to start.
Mm.
Now,
I ain't your
but
sugar daddy, Mootley. I'm sorry.
but Mootly, the way we rolled up her character actually has one, so that's like her magic item for the next 6 ranks. She's not gonna get anything
Wow.
else. She's not a tree. See, look, even Mootly thinks you're a tree person. She's not a tree person. She's a sylph that's got like harder skin that looks like wood. And her bio cybernetic engineer mouse. Yes, that's her other character.
Amazing. We will just become Groot and Rocket.
Well, not only Groot, but you will become literally Groot, Rocket, and her Jakara, her Jakara Void Pirate. So you've got,
Oh my god.
yeah. So literally, you've got the beginnings of the Guardians of the Galaxy right there.
We really do.
You really do. Now with Serby actually challenging me to create a species of sentient tree light plant life forms, which I can do. We've got a couple things in there. You literally could probably play Groot.
Wow.
Thanks, CB. All right. Equipment. I would go
Right.
with
Yeah.
I would go with the most that you can purchase right now, which would be ring armor. That's 300 silver pieces. It gives you a base absorption 11, and with your natural armor, it's a 21 total, which is
Cool.
awesome.
Let's
You
do
can take
that.
some serious hits. So we're going to go here. So we're going to go to your front character, your first character page. We're going to go to your armor and
Hmm.
defense. And we're going to type in ring armor
Yep.
there. Your armor absorption is 11, and so you have a total. So whenever you play with us, your
Hmm.
total armor absorption at first rank is going to be 21 total.
Yep.
Okay. Now there are certain things that ignore armor, but never ignores natural armor unless it's specific. So some weapons actually ignore armor, but can never truly ignore natural armor unless it specifically says ignores natural armor. Okay. So
Amazing.
like if you get shot with a pistol, it ignores your armor but doesn't ignore your natural armor because it's a thicker skin.
Hmm.
Okay. And so then we're down what, 300 did I say? 300? So we're down to
Yep. 300.
1025 silver pieces. There we go for that. That's your armor. Now we decided not to go with shield because you want to do a big heavy weapon, right?
Yep.
Okay. So starting, and like I said, I'm old school. So page 168 is the listing of the weapons in a weapon table, which gives you all the stuff that you need for weapons.
Oh boy, big table.
That's just page 1. Page 169 has the remaining of it. I find tables to be easy to actually display information easier, and then you just get to have to
Yeah.
know these things, right? Instead of having to read through all the stuff. So you want to do a big heavy weapon. Well, one of the most
Yes.
awesome weapons that a lot of people do end up using is called the Imperial Sword. It is essentially a 6 foot to 7 foot long sword based weapon. It's a two-handed weapon that does a significant amount of damage when you hit with it. And it's on page 169 under swords, and it's called the Imperial Sword. It has a cost of 500 silver
Oh, I
pieces
see it.
though.
So it's an expensive sword.
It's because it's forged out of it's you know what a claymore is, right?
Yes, I know what a claymore
Imagine
is.
imagine a claymore being an additional 2 feet long and an
Oh,
additional
wow.
3 inches thick.
It's a big boy.
It's a big boy.
That is a big boy.
I mean, it is 15
Hmm.
pounds in weight.
But it's not the heaviest weapon.
No, the Vajra is the heaviest weapon, and that's actually because it's a dual bladed imperial sword for all intents and purposes. And the blades are
It's
shaped
a
in like a
dual.
lightning shape and curved at the ends.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, and it has a special
Hmm.
thing there. You have to have a certain weapon skill to actually be able to use it.
Ah, okay. See, I have this issue where you've told me most people go for an Imperial sword, and that makes me not want to go for an Imperial sword.
Well, if you're going for a heavy weapon, that's the one to go for. If you want to
That's
do a
fair.
sword. However, there is a another heavier weapon, and you can also go like on page 168. There are larger weapons there, like the Great Club, the Imperial Club, that do certain things. There's even one that's one of my favorite weapons. It's called the Meteor Hammer, and to get the full effect of it, you actually have got to take the fighting style Meteor Hammer, because Meteor Hammer is this heavy, or these two heavy objects at the end of a 15-foot long chain that allows you to whip it around, and you can do some serious awesome things with it. But you have to be able to use it effectively. You have to have fighting style Meteor Hammer.
I see.
Otherwise, it's just a big heavy. It's a big heavy object at the end of a chain.
That's fair. Hmm. Hmm. You know what? I need to not be such a hipster. Let's go for the Imperial sword.
So there is another weapon there, and it's
Oh.
huge, it's heavy. It is literally a whip chain.
Ooh.
It is right. So it's heavy. It's 15 feet long, It doesn't do a lot of damage though, but it's literally a heavy chain that goes down in links and size of links until it gets to a very small link at the end that you can use to hit with. It's just
Oh,
there
that's so cool.
if you want to use it. And it is a two-handed weapon because of the size of it to get it to go around and whip it. But it's a two-handed weapon, and it can get kind of like if you're in a small space, you can't use it. And that's true for any of the large weapons, like Imperial Sword. Uh, it cannot, like the Imperial Swords cannot be used to attack through a space occupied by a friend or foe. So you have to attack what's in front of you and not beyond. You couldn't attack, like if a friend was in front of you, you couldn't attack around them because you need such a huge space to swing the weapon.
Mm. We're going for the whip chain.
All right.
Let's do it.
Whip chain. All right. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go up to the top, and we're gonna do whip. Well, let's double check something. I just want to make sure it is a strength based weapon. Fantastic. Whip chain in your type, and also down at the very bottom in the skill, put whip chain CHN. That's what I would use. That way I know what it is. It has a attack skill of 56 with it. It has a base damage of 4. You're going to do bonus damage of 6 because of your strength. And what's cool about this weapon, it's got some cool things to it. Zoom in here for everybody at home. The whip chain has an increased critical range. So normal critical ranges for everybody is aught 1 through aught 5. Because of this, your critical range is aught 1, so 1 through 10. If you roll an aught 1 through 10, you do critical damage with it. You hit somebody, and the critical damage dice explodes. So every time you roll a 10 when you're rolling your critical determined dice, it explodes. So Ziggy, the session before this last session, did 31 successes worth of damage because his critical explosion dice just exploded and exploded. It was,
Oh my god.
yeah, he literally destroyed whatever was in front of him. Its strike range is, I lost it here, is 15 feet.
Cool.
And special notes. So what I would suggest doing if you're on page 168, go to the chain weapon and highlight the 2H, A10, E15, and 0. Okay.
Okay.
And then put that in the special notes. And I'm going to explain to you what those do. Okay. So 2H means two-handed. A10 means it ignores 10 points of armor. So when you hit something, you ignore 10 points of its armor and do damage. E15, I believe gives you a, and this is going to be kind of cool. E15, well, it's actually bad. It's not cool. I was thinking D15. E15 means that when you're using this as a weapon, your physical defense is suffering minus 15. So it actually goes down. So you would want to use your parry with the whip chain at 56. That's the downfall of using such a huge weapon, right? That has such a huge range. So it makes you, because it takes so much energy to come up, your physical defense is actually reduced as you're trying to maneuver around. So that's a minus 15. So you would need a 19 or less to actually avoid getting hit.
Okay.
You want to continue with this weapon?
Yes.
Okay.
I've committed.
All right. And O just means that you can't attack through somebody square in front of you. Okay.
Cool. Yep.
Now we also talked. So I think that's what 300 silver pieces for that weapon. Where are my chains? It's 250.
250.
So now you're down to 775, right?
Right.
I actually have to pull up a calculator for that too, because I can't do that kind of math in my head. 1025 minus 250 is 775. Yeah, see, I was right.
Nice.
So that's that. Now, we also talked about you picking up a pistol if you want. Do you want to pick up a pistol or a crossbow?
I would love to pick up a cross.
Crossbow.
Yeah.
Okay. So a crossbow. Do you want a heavy, a light, a hand crossbow, a repeating crossbow? But the repeating crossbow is like 900
Hmm.
silver pieces though.
Oh, that's an expensive crossbow. Hmm. We've already got the big heavy whip. We don't need another heavy weapon. So let's go for. Hmm. Let's go for the hand crossbow. No, let's go for the light crossbow.
Light crossbow.
Yeah.
All right. So then we'll come up here. We will down in our character. We'll put LT XBOW, I guess, to make it correct, right? And then up here we could put light crossbow.
Yeah.
It has a base skill of 55. It does, where am I looking? Crossbow light. It does 5 points of base damage. It doesn't do any bonus damage because you don't have surgical strike. Its strike range is based off of its range, and its critical hit, I believe, is 1 through 5 as well. Yes. Um, and it is a two-handed. Is it a two-handed weapon?
Yes.
Yeah, the light crossbow is a two-handed weapon, so it's a 2H there. And your critical range is 1 through 5 for that weapon.
Yeah.
But it all now the bolts is what you use to ignore armor. So up top in ammunition, you've got bolts that are blunt, regular bolts, or hunting bolts. And so, like for 15 hunting bolts, it's 50 silver pieces for 15 of them.
For hunting bolts.
For hunting bolts, but they also ignore 15 points of armor and
Oh.
bleed. They cause 5 points of bleeding damage per turn, and the base damage of the crossbow goes up from 5 to 7.
Let's do that. Let's get the hunting bolts.
How many pairs of 15 do you want?
How many do you recommend?
So 15 of them weigh about an ounce.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, how often do you see yourself? Because when you read, so you can fire it. It takes a full turn for you, a full action for you to reload it. Then you can fire it again. So you're gonna fire it, drop it, and then use your whip, or use your whip. It depends on what you want to do. I would say 30 probably because you'll be able to get more at some point. But starting off, maybe
Sure.
30. So
Yeah,
that'd be
sounds
a
good.
so that'd be 100 silver pieces. So you're at 675. I'm sorry, 675 for that. And
Yeah.
subtracting out the crossbow. Did we cross that? I don't think we took that out. And 200. So you're at 475 total left over.
Cool.
And then on your equipment, what I would do is in backpack, just so you have 30 hunting crossbow bolts, and that's on
Yeah.
your third page of your character sheet.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to buy weapon wise?
I think I'm good. Weapon wise, I think that's enough
Okay, awesome. So what we
for
need
now.
to, what we have for now. So what we need to do here now is in your special notes. It's like I
Mhm.
said, it's two-handed, and in your special notes you get a +2 um, base damage, BD base. I forget. So base damage from
Mhm.
bolts, and you gain an A15 and a B5. Does that all fit? That all fits. Yay! So when you're using this crossbow with these bolts, these hunting bolts, it ignores the bolts themselves. Ignore 15 points of armor and cause 5 bleeding, and your base damage goes from 5 to 7.
Cool.
Okay, all right. We are essentially done. We have one last thing for you to do. On
Amazing.
page again, I'm old school and I like lists. Page 182.
Here we go.
This is all the adventuring gear that you can choose to purchase.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Or on page 189 are adventuring packs that we've built
Oh, we
for,
love a good adventuring
so
pack.
you don't have to, but if you want to go through and purchase extra items after you purchase this, go for it. Makes your character that much, gives you a little, oh, I want this, right? So one person literally purchased a I think it was a watch. Literally picked up, purchased a watch so they'd know what. I'm like, why? Because I want to know what time it is. I'm like, all right, that's for me.
Fair enough.
So, which pack do you
Hmm.
want? So you've got 400 silver pieces left, 475 silver pieces left. You can afford everything except the survivalists and the void runners pack
Void
and
Runner.
the engineers pack. Sorry, the engineers pack.
Oh, yeah. Hmm. Let's. We'll be basic. We'll go the standard pack. That seems like the most well-rounded pack.
All right. So we'll just go down there and we will just grab the whole thing, including the weight, copy that, go
Yep.
to our character sheet, go to our third sheet, go to the second line, and just paste that bad boy in.
Boom.
And subtract your, was it 250?
250. Yep.
So we are at 100.
225.
Is it 225?
We're on 475.
Yeah, I think you're right. Calculator. 475 minus 225. It's 250.
250.
Wait, hold on. I went the wrong way. Yeah,
No.
it's 225.
You've done it already.
I went the wrong direction with that. Yeah, so so it's 225 left over in silver pieces. And your character's done.
Cool. Wow.
That's it. Now you can go back and use that 225 silver pieces and buy some additional equipment that you like. We have one character who literally is purchased a grapple and a grapple gun for the sole purpose of firing it at people so he could yank them to him if they're too far away.
That's really good.
I'm like, that's cool, but I don't even know how to do that
That's
one. But yeah,
mean.
it's it's actually pretty cool.
That's really good.
Right. So what
Okay,
do
let's.
you want to do now, Dee Dee? Do you the last thing that you need to decide is, and you don't even have to decide it, right? It would be gender, if any.
Uh,
And a Sylph has the ability to shape shift or move between male and female as they feel
yeah.
fit. They can do whatever they want with that.
I
So
think
you
I
can just
think they
put,
keep them
oh,
non-binary.
there you go.
But
Not that it matters, but there's that
no,
space
none of
there.
it matters at all.
But all right, so the last thing we actually need to do is your last ability cost. Ancient Bloodline is the last ability that you chose, and the last thing that we need to do is put in the ability cost for that. Not over far enough. Is 500. So we put 500 in there, and since I broke the character sheet, your total merit cost for you to go to second rank is 2,500 merit.
Okay.
Mootly, are you calling me out? Did I miss use a pronoun? I don't think I did. Did I?
No, I mean, you've been using she more than they,
I'm so sorry about
whereas
that.
I would prefer them more than
Yeah,
she.
I know you like they more.
I'm pretty chill about it.
But I like to try to be respectful on that end, and that's why I try to call people by their names. But you revert back
Sure.
to quick things quickly, and that's my fault, and I apologize.
No, it's okay. I am okay with it.
Ah, I see. drunk. Oh, so Serby's the one where they used she, and Mootly's like, oh, watch it. Emily's pronouns. And that's important because that's part of your identity, and that's important for all of us to make sure we recognize and do that. So we've got like 2 minutes left. What do you think
What do I think of my character
of
or the
the
specific?
system, rolling up a character? Tell it to me meanly, or
I
whatever.
I really like this system. It's, I will admit, a lot more maths heavy than systems I usually play, but that's not a bad thing. Um, I love what you've done with it. Everything makes it's this is very in the weirdest way possible. It's like taking bits of D&D that didn't make sense to me and you've made it make sense. Stuff like having things based on size makes so much sense. Like having, I love all the world building you put into like the languages and the suggested names and the way things are based on like archetypes. And I love that you've gotten rid of alignments and fixed alignments.
Oh,
Because
I don't
I
know. I don't
agree,
know if
I'm not a
I've
big fan of alignments.
I don't know if I fixed alignments, but I've made it what I wanted it, what I felt was better, right? Because in the
I think
world,
it's improved.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. In the world around us, there are people that do good things and bad things. And some people do really, really, really bad things, and some people do really, really, really good things, and they maintain that, I mean,
Mm.
I mean, not everybody's going to turn in the $100 that they found on the ground in front of the grocery store. Some people would.
No. You've made it more flexible, which is what it needs to be. Because I think the D&D one's a bit too set in ways, whereas you've made it nice and like vague enough that it more fits the
Brilliant.
morally vague world we live in. So yeah, I love it. And I love what you're doing with making it more accessible, for sure. Like, I think it's really cool what you're
Well,
doing.
thank you. I do appreciate that. And I've worked very hard on trying to do that, and I've made a lot of adjustments, and I've taken a lot of time to make sure I've got it set. So, to be honest with you, I want to make sure it's as inclusive as possible on its core rules. So we start off in the right
Mm-hmm.
direction instead of having to try to fix things much later down the road when we're like, what do we do? Now, I just noticed something
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I had noticed it before. You're obviously Arbor because of, I'm going to assume Arbor Day, which is for trees,
Yes.
and then Peaceful, Kunan, Peaceful Tree. Hmm. I was just putting that together for everybody in case anybody missed that. I think it's
Yep.
awesome. I hope that we are able to get you and Mootley and some other people together and play a one shot in Void Space. If we can get everybody together on the same times, which is easy for me, difficult for Mootley and yourself because you're so busy, and Mootley lives in Australia.
Yeah, we're on opposite ends of the world.
You are on totally opposite ends of the world. Um, we'd literally it would have to start the game at like 6 a.m. her time for you to be able to join us at 8 p.m. your time, which actually you're going to fall back. So it'll be 7 p.m. your time and play for 4 hours, which would take you to midnight on a Friday evening. So she can play on a Saturday morning. Think about it that way, right? She doesn't need sleep. Why? What
We
is
can
sleep?
do that.
You need sleep. You need
What is
sleep.
sleep? Sleep is for the weak. Nah, we don't need sleep.
We don't need sleep. So, anyways, well, awesome. Thank you so much, D&D, for hanging out
Thank you
with
so
me
much for
today
having
and
me.
rolling up a character. And thank you for the very awesome, kind words about the system. And again, if you haven't followed her, if you're following me, or if you're on here watching this, go find Dungeons underscore and underscore Dorks and give them a follow. And
Please do.
she's got some amazing content. Oh, and by the way, she's wearing some awesome gear. I mean, she's got awesome
Yeah.
shirts. Look at that. And I actually think what's going to happen is a lot of people are actually purchasing that particular dragon, the Pride Dragon. I actually think what's going to happen is that specific dragon I'm going to have to name, and it's going to
Hmm.
become, I think, Hilarious Gaming's
Mascot.
mascot, right? Because everybody's purchasing it, everybody loves it. And I'm like, okay, well,
I
I
love it.
think that's where we're headed. We're gonna have the Pride Rainbow Dragon. That's a spirit dragon, and we're gonna have to name it. So we're gonna have to probably put up a poll someplace, maybe on TikTok, and see what names people come up with.
That would be really fun.
How did you not know they? Oh, here, let me help you with that, Mootley. Let me help you with that. Let me give you this. In fact, I don't know even know if you've actually been to the website there, Mootley. Um, let's see here.
Get on it, Mutley. Get in the game. You gotta present with pride.
That's that. That's that. So you can go there and purchase if you like. I think that it will be printed in Australia, so you should get it sooner than it being shipped from the United States. It took the plot doctor 4 months to get his, even though D&D only took what, 2 weeks to get it.
Yeah, it
It was
was not long at
crazy.
all.
It was crazy. But anyways, Dungeons and Dorks, thank you again so much for joining me, and I'm so appreciative for all the help that you've actually helped me to make the game more inclusive, to represent the deaf community and hearing impaired community. So I really, really appreciate you putting in your time and trusting me with it. And all I can say is thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and I appreciate it.
It has been an honor. Honestly, I've loved every minute of this. Thank you so much, and I really hope I get to play Arbor at some point in the
I
future.
hope so too, because we've literally got uh the makings of Guardians of the Galaxy here from you guys and stuff like that. So anyways, I know you need to go because you're tired. I need to go because I need to go train students. So all I want to say is this
Sure.
to everybody: stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, stay legendary. Bye.